Hello guys and welcome. I think New World is an amazing game and I'm having a very fun time so far. However, Josh Strife has made a video called 5 Reasons New World Sucks but Doesn't Have to, and I'm really curious on what sort of criticism he has for the game. Like, yeah, the game is like full of certain bugs. I feel like the PvE is a bit lacking, but hey, let's find out what he thinks.
RPG New World has been out for some time now. Players have settled into the routine, and while it's definitely been an immediate success, we are starting to see cracks in the armour, mechanical exploits, and rather intense level 30 burnout. The abuse of the mass reporting bug to get players banned with no repercussions, and literal copy and paste of cities, reinforcing the whole soulless vibe of the game design. So let's take a look at the state of New World. Now it's had a few weeks to show what it's got, and look at the 5 main mechanical weaknesses turning players away. And don't worry, this isn't clickbait. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm Josh Strife.
TNT.
Contrary to popular belief, I don't actually like it when games fail, when they don't meet player expectations. I'm an MMORPG gamer. I want there to be more good, high-quality MMORPGs out there for everyone. But I'm also of the belief that if you truly love something, you should critique it to provide constructive criticism to improve it as a product. And so far, I've seen New World
Otherwise, it won't get better.
5 major mistakes that will be detrimental to its long-term success. So let's discuss the 5 reasons New World sucks and see what they can do to improve it.
All right, let's
keep
find
the game
out.
going for many years to come. Before we begin, consider dropping a like on the video or subscribing to the channel for more MMO stuff. Ring the bell for all the future notifications. As usual, a huge thank you to the supporters on Patreon and Twitch who keep the channel alive. More on how you...
Oh yeah guys, if it's your first time on this channel or you're a returning viewer, please consider subscribing. We are covering a lot of MMO games here, from like reactions to gameplay and also live streams. So if you want to become part of this amazing community, just hit that subscribe button.
You can support at the end. For now, let's begin. Let's start with a simple one. What's the story of New World? Well, you're a member of a crew, you've been washed up on a Turnham, and now you have to survive. Okay, what was your captain called? What was the ship you were on called? Where were you going on the original voyage? Who's the first person you
There's
meet
no backstory.
And are they relevant later? Take the main image for New World, the evil face. Who is that?
Yeah.
What is their name?
I still don't know.
You can tell they're a bad guy because of the red smoke, but that's primary school levels of colour association. New World has elements of sandbox game design and theme park game design. It has dungeons and established world bosses and specific areas to experience specific things, as in theme parks, but it also has enough freedom to allow you to explore and craft from the sandbox school. But it's taken its characterization and narrative construction from sandbox, which is not a great idea, insofar as it has very weak central
not
story.
good for MMOs.
In sandbox games, the narrative is as important as you make it, and in many cases it's actually non-existent, and the game designers are hoping you will imbue your adventure with enough personal relevance to create a narrative in your head. Now,
yeah, that is the issue. Like, for example, I would say like World of Warcraft has one of the best like sort of like backstory. Same with like Final Fantasy 14, because you know where you are coming from, right? Like, you start somewhere, you have like your early quest, and you kind of like get like attached to the world and to also your race. Like, I give an example. For example, you make a Death Knight. So what do you learn as a Death Knight? You were formerly someone that died and was like raised again to serve the Lich King, aka Arthas, if you made it back then, and now it's like Bolvar, right? And you have like a backstory, you know where you are coming from basically, right? But in New World you don't. Like, it's okay to be a bit mysterious. I mean, just look at like games like, for example, Elder Scrolls or like Skyrim. You have like some backstory, but the backstory is like a mystery. Like, oh, you were like a prisoner. For example, in Skyrim, you're a prisoner and you're escaping and you were like caught at the border, right? So there's definitely some background going on there, but in New World you don't have any background, and that's why it really sucks.
Personal relevance to create a narrative
and you can't get attached to the world.
Now, having a central narrative isn't essential to a game's survival. There are games that have existed without it. EVE Online, Mortal Online 1 and 2, but these type of MMORPGs tend to be much more niche and appeal to a much smaller audience. Amazon doesn't want to do that. They want to appeal to a broad MMO demographic. And when you look at the most successful, most widely appealing MMORPGs, they've all got central narratives and strong, memorable characters.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14, Guild Wars 2,
I just said it, right?
RuneScape, Elder Scrolls Online. They're based around narratives. The thing that a narrative does is it gives you a reason to be in the world beyond the narrative you create.
Warcraft, for example,
if you've ever sat back and thought, why am I doing this? The answer is usually for a character, for a narrative, to advance a plot, to advance a story.
Yeah.
Without that plot, that story, or that central narrative construction, you ask, why am I doing this? And your answer is often, I don't know. Relatable characters are the reason you want to do quests. If you've been playing New World, you're probably in a faction, either the Marauders, Syndicate, or Covenant, and you've been accepting faction missions from various leaders in town. So
they
here's a
start
test.
to get boring
Name
for me a
one
little
of
bit.
the faction leaders you've been accepting quests from. I tried, I couldn't, because I don't read their dialogue. I just click on the accept quest big square like everyone else. There is a major reason people are getting burned out with faction quests, something we'll look at in a moment. You're not accepting them to help a given person or a goal or achieve an actual recognizable event. You're leveling for the sake of leveling to get items. It's missing the human connection. It's why it feels hollow. This ties.
Yeah, exactly. And they could actually fix this so easily. For example, those guardians that you had to kill, like those skeletons there. If they gave you a quest like, hey, a village nearby is under frequent attack by those skeletons and they are recently being, I don't know, let's say raised or something. Can you please go there and help this village out, because if we don't, like, this village, everyone will freaking die or something. Like, if there was like some sort of backstory behind the faction quest and not just something there poses a threat, go and kill 8 of those. Like, that's a very weird quest dialogue, and it's like cut too short in my opinion. Like, there needs to be some more backstory, and I feel like to RP, for example, in New World is like almost impossible. If you're like into RPing in MMO, you will have a hard time RPing in New World.
In with the next major point, something I'm seeing a lot. The level 30 burnout wall seems to be a thing. New World has 3 major quest designs. Go to a place and kill a certain number of enemies, or go to a place and collect a certain number of items, or go to a place and gather a certain amount of resources. This is basically it. This is the vast majority of quests in the game. The main storyline does send you on an adventure and has you exploring different locales, but as New World is heavily focused around territory control, you want to advance within your faction to access better weapons and armor.
Yeah.
And the faction quests are extremely repetitive. Go kill
Yeah.
X enemies in a place, hand the quest.
I thought
go and
everyone
kill
at
another
least
X
5,
in a
6
different
times
place,
in a row
do
already
it
like
again,
the same
hand
one.
it in, do it again, hand it in, accept
don't think
another,
I get
go and
new
collect
ones
X
even.
items. Honestly, after you've spent 5 or 6 items doing faction reputation quests, you've basically seen the system. It's just variations on this for the remainder of the levels, and people are quitting because of it. There are very few quests that are puzzles.
They're
Very few
quitting
quests that have
because
any
of that,
actual
really?
engaging narrative. Very few quests that require you to
Wait, I want to read this out. That seems interesting what is written here. This game needs more quest variety or it's gonna die. Seriously, every single fucking quest in this game is go here, kill 3x, loot 3 chests. Every single fucking quest is the exact same. Whether it's side missions, bot missions, PvP missions, main story quest missions. Literally everything is loot the chest, kill enemies, loot chest, kill enemies. Run for 40 minutes, loot chest. Yo, I'm feeling this one. Like, I'm experiencing exactly the same, and it gets repetitive, that's for sure. What the fuck is this leveling experience? Where's the quest variety? Where's the story? Where the fuck is anything for that matter? I can't believe this was delayed and like that much leveling content. Seriously, Amazon couldn't create escort quests or anything else for that matter, no? Wow, that would be actually fun. Like, bring an NPC from there to there, and there's like a forest, and they're like, let's say, lost attacking or wolves. And you must take care that this NPC doesn't die. Wow, that would be a fun quest. I hope they actually add this with the future expansion. Good idea here by who? Last letter 444.
very few quests that have any actual engaging narrative. Very few quests that require you to combine items to do anything in the world. Reddit is full of people posting about the level 30 burnout. That seems to be the moment people realise this won't change. If you don't enjoy it now, you won't enjoy it for the next 30 levels. It is the same content, just more. Some
No.
people love repetitive content. If New World is 3D RuneScape and people can fish in RuneScape or RuneCraft or farm for hours,
Yeah, like
surely they
RuneScape.
can do it in New World as well, and that's absolutely fine, but it does feel soulless. I've said in a previous video that I feel New World is a beautiful looking game with very little below the surface. It's gold-plated plastic. You scratch away the outer shell and you very quickly realise there's not much there beyond
That
the
much
beautiful
depth,
exterior.
right?
Now, here is an exact perfect example that will help you understand what I mean when I say the game has been created without love. This
Without
is the map
love?
of the main settlement
Why?
of the Windswood territory, a low-level territory. And this is the map of the settlement of Morningdale, a high-level territory. Now let's just see what happens if we take both settlements and rotate one a little bit. And then, just to be pedantic,
You are
let's
kidding
go
me.
through and number every single feature that they share.
You
Now,
are
you might argue
you are
maybe it was the
kidding
same
me,
city
right?
planner, or it was a homage, or any other reason. But when the destroyed
Holy
walls are the same, when
Holy shit, guys. That is so identical. It was just turned around. Oh shit. Like even the buildings are exactly the same, like the whole layout and everything.
the paths in and out are the same, this isn't
Only
a
this structure is
homage.
different,
This
only
is
one,
a
I think.
copy-paste job. And this is what I mean when I
Except for
say the
this.
game feels soulless. It's beautiful, but it lacks depth or personality.
Maybe it will
it's
be
a fun
added, though,
experience
in
for a bit,
future.
but it feels like a cake with too much frosting. It's great to look at, it's enjoyable for a bite or two, but there's not enough substance to keep you around. But you know what? All of these criticisms can be hand-waved away. It doesn't matter there's no central narrative or identifiable characters to empathise with. It doesn't matter that
They
the
can be added
PvE
later on,
quests
maybe?
are repetitive. It doesn't matter the cities are copy-pasted, because the game is a PvP game, not
Yeah,
a PvE game. And a
mostly.
game about PvP focuses on the engagements and the conflicts between the players, not the story of the game.
That's
It
probably the
focuses
main reason I
on
got
the
into it in the
battles
first
the
place,
players make
PvP.
happen, not the quests you go on. And the towns are just mechanical. They don't need stories or personalities. They're just there to restock before the next big fight. Well, if PvP is your thing, you might be worried, because you could just be mass reported and banned.
How?
It has been discovered that New World does not check every player abuse report manually, and that's fine. There's lots of abuse reports. They need to have an
What?
automated system. But players have discovered if a single player receives enough abuse reports against them in a very short time, the system will just automatically ban them. A PvP game based on guild versus guild battles where players have discovered a mechanic to just automatically ban enemy players. Oh, there's no way this is going to be abused, right? Reddit is flooded with reports of mass bannings just before any important territory war. How teams have been targeting high-level, high-ranking members of opposite factions, and instead of fighting them, just mass reporting them to remove them from the battle before it even happens. The
Shit.
situation is so bad
Yo, I have to be careful, because if I'm like one of those 1vxers, I would probably get banned, because people are afraid I will kick their butts, right?
that it's been reported on in the
Holy shit.
mainstream news. Players have been calling for boycotts, and popular streamers are constantly in danger. Because if a vindictive streamer
Appeal
wants to
takes,
get another
time.
player banned, they can abuse their system by asking all their followers to mass report. But equal and opposite, a streamer's account is now a lightning rod for mass reports against them. The main
Yeah.
problem here is there doesn't seem to be
I'm
any
actually afraid of
repercussions for the
that.
people doing this. The reporters aren't punished in any way, because you don't want to discourage actual real people from reporting in-game abuse. So until Amazon fixes this, the best PvP tactic is to abuse the player report feature. But maybe we could all get on and join the same faction, which is actually what a lot of PvE players are doing, because it's the best choice. Because banking in the game isn't centralized. You bank per settlement.
Yeah,
You can
this
only
is
access the
annoying.
bank
Why
of that
cannot be
settlement
global?
Unless both settlements are controlled by the same faction, in which case you can access the other settlement's bank. So if you're Syndicate and you're in a Syndicate settlement and you have items in another settlement halfway across the map that is also Syndicate, don't worry, you can just pay to access those items too. But you can also switch your faction for free after you've chosen. So if you're a PvE player, you are always going to choose the biggest faction that can access all the banks. If you have no interest in PvP, you would never ever join the underdog, because it's a bad mechanical choice.
But that would
So
be
joining a
misleading, 'cause it
faction
seems
isn't
like
actually
one
about
is more-
whose morals do I agree or disagree with, because the factions are skin deep and don't have any actual stories connected to them. It's a mechanical choice of how many banks do I want to access. Now if you
But this will actually promote zerging in this game too, because let's say you are a PvE player, but maybe you casually PvP. And if you join the biggest faction, then the biggest faction gets even bigger and bigger and bigger. And like, it will dominate the map as a whole. And then like another faction would just have like one or two settlements. Yeah, that will cause some imbalance.
you clicked on this video expecting clickbait, I'm very sorry. The title isn't clickbait, it's emotional titling, because of
It
course
is
I want
emotional.
people to click, but I also want to deliver on the promise. 5 reasons New World sucks. It's not a bad game in general, but these reasons
Yeah,
are holding
it's just-
it back. 1. Lack of emotionally relatable characters with personal
It's
goals or a
constructive
central
feedback,
narrative
that's what
means
it is.
Players aren't feeling emotionally connected to the world, leading to the asking of why am I doing this for story-based players. You're excluding an entire demographic. 2. Exceptionally repetitive quest design for both the weak central story and
I
the
don't
faction
care somewhat of
reputation
story,
grind,
to be
leading to a
honest.
level
A
30
little bit.
burnout wall where players realise the gameplay experience hasn't changed in multiple hours and will not change for multiple more. Endless go to a place and kill X or collect X aren't engaging gameplay quests. 3.
He's lagging quite a lot, right? You guys saw that?
Assets leading to a feeling of corporate creation instead of passionate game studio creation. 4. Mass reporting of players is the best PvP tactic and will remain so until Amazon get control of this. And 5. Banking use being linked to faction control, meaning for PvE players you will always join the dominating faction, leading to them dominating more and the unbalance remaining, or just switching to whoever is winning 3 months from now repeatedly. This means no personal connection to your faction as it's an ephemeral mechanical choice, not an emotional one. New World is a decent quality game with very little going on emotionally. A lot of people that play MMORPGs are story or narrative driven players, and there's very little for them here. A lot of people are PvE focused players, and once you've gone through the few quest designs there are, there's very little for them there. A lot of people want to explore the world, and once they've seen 1 or 2 cities that look the same, there's very little for them there. If they don't mix the quest design up, if they don't deal with the mass reporting in PvP, if they don't deal with allowing one faction to dominate the land and allowing the banking system to actually affect PvE players based on the actions of PvP players they aren't involved with, they're going to lose a lot of players. But what do you think? Is New World going to focus on these issues? Is it worth spending time to fix them? Or do you think there are a whole host of new issues I haven't even mentioned that will come into play? Let me know.
I think there are some more issues that will come up in
Another
time.
massive thank you to the supporters on Patreon and Twitch who keep the channel going. You can support
That's
from
a
only
big
£1
list
a
right
month.
there, right?
Check the video description for links to the Patreon, Twitch, Twitter, Discord, and the second channel Josh Strife Plays, where I replay and review classic games we all enjoyed as kids. And as always,
The good old days.
a great day.
Wow. But yeah, he really goes straight to the point. Like, what I love so much about Josh Strife Hayes videos is he doesn't hold back. Like, he's direct and honest, and his criticism is always like very true to the core as well. Like seriously, I actually think also when I go from like settlement to settlement, they're also quite similar. Yeah, like that with the turning thingy. Like, I've noticed a lot of those buildings, they look quite similar. Like, one points in another direction, one the other, and I had like my also suspicion about it, like that maybe some is like copy paste and turned. But yeah, when it comes to like those quests, like the faction quests especially, they are crazy repetitive, and even though you have like a guaranteed drop from certain NPCs or chests, and it's like not an RNG how fast you complete it, so you just go there and it's like super quick. It's still annoying because you have to walk from A to B. You don't have any freaking mounts as well, so you have to walk for eternity. Then you only kill 3-4 monsters or loot 3-4 chests in the freaking houses, and then you return back. And like 80% of the duration of the quest is like probably walking around. Like, you walk for like 80% of the time, for 20% of the time you just loot and kill. And then if you have done this like for a while, you're like leveling up with faction quests, what I'm currently trying to do. Like, I'm doing as many faction quests as I can to get to like a higher level so I can do some really cool PvP, because I really want to get heavily into PvP with New World. Like, I end up constantly running into the same quest. So there's like this giant bear in a cave. You guys probably have done this one also quite a lot. And I had to kill this bear already, it was like 3-4 times in a row or so. Or like this one, I think it's near to Windsward, right? Or this one like pirate ship or what it is, or pirate wreck, where you have to like freaking go and like you have to kill certain lost pirates, and then you have to return this back in. You always go and kill those 8 pirates. Like, I've probably done this like 6 times now in a row or so. At least. And I feel like there isn't enough variety for those faction quests, and you just get the same ones. And someone said there on, was it like Reddit or so, that would be nice to have like a freaking escort quest where you have to like, if you have to walk so far, that at least you walk from the settlement with an NPC somewhere far and you have to defend this one. Or some caravan with a wagon or something. That would be also cool, like walking with a caravan of like some NPCs, and you must make sure that at least one, let's say, survives or so. No, like seriously, we need more quests, and we need some backstory. Like I mentioned earlier, if you start in Skyrim, for example, you're a prisoner and you're escaping prisoner, then you find out about the plot with like freaking dragons and stuff. In World of Warcraft, depending on what sort of class you pick or like race, you start somewhere. If you're, for example, like a dwarf, you start near to Ironforge, and you learn more about like your class, what your class is standing for. Like, what's a priest, for example, what's a paladin, and you hear about like some lore of the certain class, right? But when it comes to like certain weapons or professions, for example with the musketon, you don't learn about why there's musketon, what's like engineering, this and that. It would be nice to have some more backstory for sure. This will help also role players to like being able to RP. And you get like more attached to the world, and there's also like the option in the future to make novels, like to write books to the game, or maybe make a movie. I mean, just look at freaking World of Warcraft, like how many novels there are, and there's like even a movie and stuff. And even Final Fantasy 14, like there's just so much going on. And there was also like a book that they were offering and stuff, and you get some more lore insight. And yeah, I hope this will be also with New World in the future, because that's the only way it can actually survive for a long time, because there needs to be a soul. Like he said, it can't feel soulless. You need a soul for the game to last for very, very long. Right now I'm having so much fun with New World, but that it's new is also contributing to that. Like if you have a new game and like cool graphics, cool combat, it's just very like very luring. It's like very like, ooh, wow, that's so cool. I want to try this game. Like I saw my friend play that one. The graphics are insane. Oh, there's so much cool PvP. There's huge faction wars. Yo, let me get that game. And then you get that game, and you play it for some months, and then you maybe get burnt out, or you don't get too attached, because there's not so much backstory. It's like kind of like a soulless world, right? Let's hope the soul will enter the game in some time. Would be nice if there were like some cool expansions with like some more PvE potential. But hey, let's see. Right now I'm just enjoying New World. I'm having a blast. I will still play it. I'm not going to quit. I think maybe the game can have a future, but we have to see what Amazon will do with it. But yeah, guys, if you are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, please don't forget to hit that like button. That would really help out with the YouTube algorithm. And I wish everyone a wonderful day. I will see you guys next time.